When is parody a fair use under copyright law? That's what I'm going to be discussing today. I've spent the entire week talking about copyright, and I'm going to continue that today. I'm Angela Langlotz, and I go live here on weekdays to talk about intellectual property law, and today I'm going to cover parody. Now, the parody isn't actually mentioned as fair use under the preamble to Section 107 of the copyright law. But the Supreme Court, or the Supremes, as I like to call them, has ruled that parody is, in fact, a protected use under the fair use exception to copyright infringement. Now, again, fair use is a defense to an accusation of copyright infringement. The Supreme said it depends, the extent of the permissible copying depends in part on the purpose and the character of the use. And they said that parody, because it comments or criticizes or offers some new take on the original work, that it's protected under fair use. But the four fair use factors still apply when we're analyzing parody. So let's look again at what the four factors are, and then I'm going to apply those to a parody that I made. So what are the four factors? We look at the type of unauthorized use. What's the purpose? What's the character of it? Was the original factual in nature, or was it creative? Now, the more creative the work is, the greater the protection it receives. What's the amount of the work that is used? That's the third factor. So we look at, was the entirety, the heart of the work taken? And again, as I said earlier, this is more of a qualitative inquiry than a quantitative inquiry. If the heart of the work is a certain very impactful portion, then it's more likely to not fall under the fair use guidelines. And again, and then number four, we look at the impact that the use has on the demand for the original work. If the work is put out in such a way that it's going to take money away from the original creator, then it's less likely to be a fair use, because we don't want to harm the original creator by affecting the market for their work. So let's talk about parody. The Supremes describe parody as a humorous form of comment or criticism that comments or criticizes the original. In essence, parody is a sort of mimic of the original. Now, again, copyright law is pretty loosey-goosey, and we have different and conflicting, sometimes, rulings from various federal courts. So nobody really knows where the line is between fair use and copyright infringement, and that's what makes this part of the law so interesting. In general, though, the more transformative a work is, the more likely it is to be a permissible fair use. So the more it mimics, it comments, it criticizes, it creates something new, the less likely it is to be an impermissible copyright infringement. So I took the liberty of taking a photograph. We've been exploring the limits of copyright and fair use, especially this week, because I had a local politician steal one of my client's photographs in order to avoid paying my client a royalty fee and use it in an attack ad against his opponent. So I took the liberty of sort of trolling him about this, and I made my own parody. So this is the politician, the naughty politician. His name's David Blewett, and I made a parody of him. I pulled this off of his website. I did the classic right-click download, and here it shows Dave. He looks like such an all-American guy, you know, somebody that you'd want to take home to your mom, except he's married, so we won't take him home. But I made this parody as sort of a commentary on this clean-cut guy who thinks it's okay to just take from a local creator. So here's what I made. So the commentary that I put at the bottom says, ethical? Nope. So this is an image that kind of parodies the whole hope image from the Shepherd Fairy. He's the guy who made he took the photograph of Obama and made the hope poster during that election. Well, they actually have a filter now that we call it fairyizing, that fairyizes images. So what I did was I basically did exactly what Dave Blewett did to my client. And Dave Blewett is claiming that this is fair use. So I figured sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. So Dave Blewett downloaded my client's image, flipped it, and recolored it and said, well, that's transformative. It's fair use. I haven't actually heard from his lawyers, haven't heard a peep from them. They were supposed to get back to me about this. It's okay. I heard it through the grapevine. I know a lot of people. So that's what I heard his defense was going to be. So what I did was I downloaded it, I flipped it, and I recolorized it. And I'm calling this transformative. I also added some commentary, some sort of pointed commentary about the behavior and about how the clean-cut all-American guy in the subject photo that I transformed isn't really seeming to me to be that guy, okay? And it's an election, so we have additional leeway to comment on matters of public importance like elections, so I felt doubly free to go ahead and create this parody. So again, what I did was I took the image, I flipped it, I recolored it, and I added my own commentary. Indeed, a transformative work. So I hope that helps everyone understand the limits of parody. This is Angela Langlotz, and I go live here on weekdays to talk about the law. I like to talk about intellectual property issues and other business matters that affect online entrepreneurs. You can find me online at TrademarkDoctor.net. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/TrademarkDoctor. If you have questions about intellectual property matters, you can message me on my Facebook page and I will answer those in a future live video.